It's 6:56 a.m. The air is still dreaming, and your circular saw just cleared its throat like a jet engine. If you've ever wondered exactly how short the walk is from new kitchen to new enemy, it's the length of an extension cord across a driveway in an HOA at sunrise. I'm not anti-upgrade. I'm pro-sleep and pro-sidewalk. And I'm very pro not blocking the mailbox cluster with a roll-off dumpster like it lives here. I texted you last night at 8:41. Contractor work 8-6 per HOA and city. No cutting before 8. Dumpster must be 10 feet from mailboxes and off the sidewalk. Porta John, behind your fence, not at the curb. You sent got it with a hammer emoji. At 6:56, the hammer emoji became a hammer symphony. Also, your crew staged sawhorses half on the sidewalk, half on the strip, and the roll-off kissed the red paint by the hydrant. I called non-emergency because I can't outshout a saw and I don't want to be the street's folklore at 7:02. That's a cruiser. Please don't panic. He's here to draw lane lines and keep tempers from wearing tool belts. Good morning, officer. Thanks for coming before the first coffee did. We've got a remodel crew starting power tools before 8. A roll-off parked too close to the hydrant and mailbox approach, and materials stacked across the sidewalk. Noise is the big thing, safety is the always thing, and the HOA construction hours and placement rules exist because Tuesday at 7 shouldn't sound like Tuesday at a lumber yard. You're rubbing your eyes like you slept on a ladder. I get it. Contractors show at dawn because dawn shows up on time, but the HOA and the city don't. They show at 8. 7 is for quietly unloading, quietly measuring, and quietly asking, is the Porta-John going inside the gate like adults? You're saying the subcontractor hit the saw 3 times to check the blade. Blade checks at 8. We can check it now with the power off and the guard on, miming like a silent movie about boundaries. Also, the roll-off driver asked where to set the box, and you said, anywhere. Anywhere is not the mailbox. Anywhere is also not the hydrant flare. Anywhere is inside your drive if it fits or along your curb, 10 feet from the mailbox, 5 feet from any driveway, never blocking the sidewalk, with reflectors and cones at the corners. You're pointing at the permit taped to your window. Permits don't erase geometry. Permits say yes to work, not yes to chaos. Officer, could you say the hours and the hydrant chalk mailbox clearance out loud so memory turns into a group project? Thank you. He says, construction noise after 8 a.m. on weekdays after 9 a.m. on Saturdays, no power tools on Sundays per HOA, dumpsters can't block sidewalks or sightlines, must stay clear of hydrants and mailboxes, porta-johns must be screened and placed on private property. That last part matters because toddlers exist and so do noses. You look defensive. You're not a villain. You're a person who wants cabinets, and cabinets ask a lot of a Tuesday. Let's draw a quick plan that makes your project finish without a hearing, and my street keep the part of itself that can nap. First, the saw is off until 8. Second, move the sawhorses into your garage slab with both cars out. If you need daylight, leave the door open, but nothing sits in the sidewalk lane. Third, call the roll-off company now. Have them slide the box 4 feet forward so its rear edge is 10 feet from the mailbox cluster and clear of the hydrant paint. If they can't come today, we can crib the box with cones and a reflective panel so carriers can still line up. But today is better than tomorrow because mail skips become group chats. Fourth, Porta-John goes inside your gate by noon with a temporary privacy screen panel. Not on the curb, not in the strip, not next to the neighbor's azaleas like a practical joke. Fifth, unloading is fine now. Quietly. No tossing lumber from the truck bed like a drum solo. Set, don't drop. You're saying your GC promised 11 days and you're already on day 13. Of course you are. Remodel calendars lie like fishermen and toddlers. We still don't start saws at 7. We also don't store drywall on the sidewalk for just a minute, because just a minute is how strollers become obstacle courses. Officer, could you log pre-8 a.m. power tool use, advised HOA city hours, dumpster to be repositioned, sidewalk to be cleared, porta-john to rear yard? Voluntary compliance? Thank you. That note is how everyone remembers Tuesday the same way. You're worried the roll-off slide will cost you a trip fee. It might. It'll cost less than a fine and 2 angry emails, and it will cost less than the relationship you're going to need when you borrow your neighbor's outlet because your temp power trips. Also, pro tip, painter's tape and a Sharpie at the gate where your crews enter. Quiet unload 7 to 8, power at 8, sidewalk clear, door soft close. Crews red tape like scripture when the alternative is redo the day. Let's solve the immediate. It's 7:06. We have 54 quiet minutes. Use them to set, not scream. Stack sheet goods in the garage against the interior wall with a spacer, strap them so they don't pancake. Cut list, write it now. Measure inside with the shop vac off. Talk in indoor voices like the kitchen can hear you judging it. You're waving at the electrician who arrived at 6:50. Electrical rough-in is perfect quiet work for now. Pull wire silently. Tie in at 8. No hammer drill yet. You're asking if you can run the compressor to test a nailer. Compressors are the sound of a distant herd of bees with a subwoofer. After 8. Hand nail the 3 things that can't wait or mark and hold. I'll trade you tape for patience. And the Porta-John, it appears like a mirage of good intentions at the curb. Let's roll it. No, not on the sidewalk. 2 dollies. Lift, roll, inside gate, behind your privacy screen. I have a panel in my garage for moments like this because I collect problems the way other people collect spoons. You can borrow it for the week. You're suspicious of my panel because it matches the trim. It matches because I got it approved last year, and now I don't fight the HOA about colors, I paint them. You ask if the HOA really cares where the Porta-John lives. They do when it's on the curb next to the mailbox. Mail and Porta-Johns are sworn enemies. The HOA chooses mail, always. Okay, roll-off company picks up on the 3rd ring. You ask for a slide forward 4 feet, clear of hydrant and mailbox approach, same side of the street, cones to be reset. They say, we'll be there by noon. Beautiful. The mail truck smiles from 5 blocks away. You're worried the crew will be behind now. They won't. They'll do layout, mark cuts, stage hardware, and sweep. Order is speed disguised as boredom. I live for that disguise. You ask if you can cut 1 miter outside at 7:30. Super quick. No. Super quick at 7:30 is super loud at 7:30. If you must cut before 8, use a handsaw inside the garage with the door mostly down. Handsaws sound like pen scratches to the street. Your GC makes a face. Your GC will survive. The neighbors will survive. We're all going to survive the 2 weeks with less thread drama if the rules act like seatbelts. Officer, thanks for standing here like a reminder that consequences exist somewhere past my patience. Your presence turns sermons into plan bullets. Let's walk the curve and check the hydrant clearance. 2 cones, reflective panel. Count off 10 feet from the mailbox concrete edge with my tape. Now you see how the tail of the box sits at 8 feet? That's the problem. Mail requires a straight shot, not a slalom. We'll chalk a line for the driver. Box nose to this mark, rear to that one. He'll understand math more than he understands vibes. Also, your duck delivery is scheduled for 9 Sao. Make sure the truck parks on the north curb, not across the street with hazards, or you'll invent a 1-lane road at school drop-off o'clock. If the driver says, just 5 minutes, translate that to the longest 5 minutes of your life with a horn soundtrack. You ask if you need an HOA architectural form for the temporary screen panel hiding the Porta-John. Technically, yes. For permanent, no. For temporary, if it matches trim and sits inside the fence line. I'll email the board that we placed a temporary screen and we'll remove it at final. We say temporary a lot because it's a magic word that keeps committees from sharpening pencils. You're muttering about the dumpster being uglier than sin. It is. We can't make it pretty, but we can make it polite. Polite dumpsters don't block sightlines, don't scrape mailboxes, don't spawn threads with 17 replies and 1 cousin from out of state yelling about freedom. I like freedom. I love mail. Mail wins. You ask about dust. Your saw throws confetti like a parade. Please keep cuts inside the garage with a vac attached. No one wants to taste medium-density fiberboard for breakfast. Your neighbor across the way sneezed yesterday and blamed a pollen forecast. It was your MDF. She will sue you in gossip court. Provide masks to your crew and put a mat at the garage threshold to knock sawdust off boots. Our storm drains don't want to eat your crown molding in powder form. Tiny request, power cords. Run them along your lawn edge, not across the sidewalk. If they must cross, use a cable ramp or tape down with bright gaffers and cone it. Broken wrists file better complaints than broken cabinets. We're not doing either. You ask if Saturday is a longer day because everyone's home and helpful. Saturday is 9/6 by HOA, no saws at dawn. If your cousin is helpful, give him the broom and the tape measure. Do not give him the saw. The saw belongs to people who sleep enough to aim. Another thing, parking for trades. Your painter drives a van that thinks hydrants are suggestions. Put a no park fire lane note on your whiteboard now and text him the guest lot pin. Hang tags are for guests after 9. Trades are day use only in guest row or along your curb without blocking mailboxes, hydrant or driveways. If he parks in my apron, I will knit him into next month's. Minutes! He doesn't want that. No one wants knit. Minutes. Your phone buzzes. The roll-off dispatcher says noonish became. 10:30, that's better. Leave your cones and chalk. Mark says love letters for the driver. Officer, can you swing back at 10:40 to make sure the move didn't reinvent a problem? Thank you. That nod is the oil in this machine. All right. Minute by minute until 8:07. Staging inside garage only. Sidewalk clear. 20. Cut list finished. Mark pieces with painter's tape numbers. Sweep dust inward. Quiet unload the second truck. Stack against interior wall, door half down. Fee, Porta-John rolled inside fence. Panel placed. Cable ramp across temporary cord if needed. Feet. Crew briefing at the tape sign. No power until 8. Sidewalk is a sidewalk. Door soft close. No radio louder than a conversation at 10 feet even after 8. Flip the switch. Make the cuts you marked. Vacuum on, door at 3/4. See how 8 looks less like a prison and more like a runway? You're asking about lunch. Feed the crew on your side of the line, not in the greenbelt or at the mailbox cluster. Their burritos are not public art. Also, trash goes straight into bags in the roll-off, not piled by the curb like a modern sculpture of sadness. Tape a list on the garage fridge. No paint in dumpster. No oil, no solvents. Those go to the hazardous drop-off we pretend isn't real until the day it saves our insurance. I will text you the address on Friday because I am that person. Your GC brings up, we're behind. Can we do a quiet Sunday inside work only? The answer is inside only with hand tools. No compressor, no saws, no demo noise audible outdoors. If a neighbor calls because the rhythmic hammering sounds like a woodpecker in a cathedral, Sunday ends respect. Sunday, it's the block's collective pretend. You ask whether you can run a generator for the tile saw if the garage circuit trips. No generators in the driveway. If you need power, run a dedicated 12-gauge cord from a 20-amp circuit inside, cords managed safely, or schedule the tile cuts for a weekday afternoon. Generators say festival, and this street is not a festival. It's a cul-de-sac with ambitions. Officer, could you add no generator permitted in driveway? Quiet Sunday limits explained? Thank you. Okay, the crew is ready to restack. Let's clear the sidewalk now. I'll move the sawhorse. You grab that drywall stack, and we'll carry it inside like we respect cartilage. 1, 2, lift. Set sidewalk breathes again. Stroller could pass right now, and I wouldn't have to narrate physics. Your electrician asks about trenching for a conduit under the sidewalk to the future gate motor. No trenching. Or boring public sidewalk without city permit and HOA approval, and not during a school walk hour. Also, future gate motor, you'll be back in front of the architectural committee with ice cream and a very polite tone. Future, you will hate present you if you wing it. Be kind to future you. Tape the idea to your fridge. Do nothing today but dream. You look like you needed permission to delay a fight. Permission granted. Okay, the roll-off truck just turned onto the lane. He sees the cones, the chalk marks, the hydrant, the mailbox. He grumbles at physics, as all of us do. He slides the box 4 feet forward. Perfect. Now the rear is beyond 10 feet from the mailbox. The hydrant is breathing. Sight lines at the bend are clear. Officer, you see it? Nod achieved, we live for nods. The mail carrier will kiss the morning air. No one will notice except their stress level. That makes 3 of us happy and the rest neutrally blessed. It's 7:44. You just asked if the crew can tune the radio to sports talk at 8. At conversational volume, sure. If the driveway becomes a tailgate, the radio dies. Ears are shared here. I'm not trying to turn your remodel into a monastery, just a workspace that doesn't make my coffee vibrate. The painter pops a can. He starts shaking like maracas. Tell him to shake in the garage. Lid on tight, drop cloth under. Not on the porch. Not on the sidewalk. Not where we'll discover blue freckles on Tuesday night in the landscaping. Blue freckles become emails. Emails become me, on your porch, with a look. He doesn't want the look. No one wants the look. We're at 7:52. You ask if your small U.S. flag can stay on the porch during work. Yes. Keep it clear of dust and overspray. Don't use it as a rag. Please, for the love of neighbors. If you light it in the evening, shielded light aimed at the flag. Not at the street off by 10. We love symbols. We hate glare. The GC asks where to put the debris bags until the next roll-off pull. Answer, in the box immediately, not staged in the strip. Staging is the mother of oops, it rained on glue. Glue in drains is a sonnet of fines. We do not write that sonnet. It's 7:58. Final checks. Sidewalk clear. Cords ramped, roll-off positioned. Porta-john screened inside fence, crew briefed. At 8. Cut like you're paying rent on time. At 9, I will be at work not thinking about your saw because the radio will be a murmur and the vac will be sucking hope in a gentle way. At noon, the officer will swing through, see the box moved, and give the nod. At 4, you'll be so far ahead because you measured at 7 you'll think you invented time. You didn't. You just respected it. Let me text the summary so no one's 2 p.m. Memory says, we never agreed, while holding a nail gun like a microphone. Work hours per HOA city. Weekdays 8A 6P, Sat 9A 6P. No audible Sunday work. Pre-8. Quiet unload, layout only. No power tools before 8. No generators in driveway. Dumpster relocated to be 10 from mailboxes, clear of hydrant and sight lines. Cones, reflectors set. Sidewalk must remain clear at all times. Cords ramped taped if crossing. Porta-john inside fence with temporary screen by noon. Cuts in garage with vac. Dust controlled. No cutting in street sidewalk. Trades park in guest row or curb without blocking driveways, hydrant, or mailbox. Radio at conversational volume. Debris into roll-off immediately. No curb staging. Officer documented advisory and voluntary compliance. Follow-up noon. Reply, agree. Thank you, agree, received. Officer, you have what you need? He does. He's the adult version of a check mark. Now, at 8:00, flip the saw. Hear that? Measured. Not manic. That's what 8 sounds like when 7 did the quiet math. And if the internet thinks HOAs hate kitchens, they can come hold this cord ramp and see how much love lives in making a stroller lane. Before I leave, 3 small future wins. Put felt on the bottom of the sawhorse feet so they don't skate on the garage slab and launch into the neighborhood like a baby giraffe. Put a bell on the gate the crew uses so it doesn't slam like a gavel every 5 minutes. Put a magnet tray on the porch table so screws don't roll into the strip, puncture a tire, and start a novel. You're nodding like a person who just found 3 screws in a pocket. Welcome to the club. At 10:40, if your tile guy shows up with a wet saw, put him inside the garage with the door half down and a towel dam. Wet saws sing. Neighbors hear them as ballads of ambition. We keep the chorus short. At 3:10, when the roll-off swap happens, spot the driver. Drivers love not backing into mailboxes. You will love not filling out a mailbox form. We all win. I'll swing by at noon with 2 extra cones. And a cable ramp you can keep through Friday. Return cones with a Donut. Kidding, I will accept a donut. And tonight, when you're tempted to hammer one more strap at 6:12, remember tomorrow is a real place. It likes you better when you wait. For everyone watching, should HOAs lock remodel hours to city rules or add stricter start times for tight streets? 8 a.m. weekdays, 9 a.m. Saturdays, quiet Sundays, no exceptions? And what's your best low-drama job site set up on a residential block? Garage cutting stations, vacs on every saw, cone and ramp kits, porta-johns screened inside the fence, or pre-8 checklists? Drop the systems that saved your sanity in the comments. Your trick might keep the next kitchen from becoming a courtroom at sunrise.